Hi friends, it's Angela, Wild Violets Art. Thank you so much for joining me again tonight. It's my marvelous Monday, and I'm here again with the Wildflower Birthday Suite Collection. It is so pretty, and we had some fun on Friday, putting together some beautiful scrapbook pages, and I've got cards for tonight. So if you're looking at the beautiful catalog cover, you'll notice that it is featuring actually the Wildflower Birthday Suite. But if you open it up, you will notice that there are not just one page of pictures and ideas, but an additional 2 pages to get your inspiration from. So I've taken a couple of these, actually 3, from these pages, and I'm going to show you how to make them. They're so pretty, and really it's just parts and pieces. The one that's a little more Avid is this one, and so I'll help you with some of those measurements today, and then of course I'll be putting it on my blog so that you have that detail to reference as well. And I hope that you're taking a look at the celebration catalog. There's so many fun things in there. There's a great scrapbooking stamp set that I used last week documenting the day. And then there is card kits. There's tons of designer series paper. There's these cute little friendly seagulls that could be any time of year, but there's also enough in there that you could actually even do it with Valentine's. And there's fun ideas. There's a Starstruck embossing folder. There's Days to Celebrate. I got that one as well. There's another one, Toadstool Gardens, and it coordinates with the terrific Toadstool bundle, which is really cute. I have that, and I'll be featuring something about that in the future. And then, of course, there's the Fresh Freesia ribbon. There's Pick a Season stamp set. And then Dance With Me, fun little sequins, more designer series paper. And then those were all $60 items. For $120 purchase, there's a beautiful heart-shaped bundle that is just stunning, and I'll be playing with that here soon. And there is also Corner in Bloom, which is just gorgeous. Really, really beautiful. So make sure you're checking that out. And in case you want to be part of my team, hey, Linda, you can also get either the typical $125 worth of product for $99, but you also can choose either additional product, another $30 in product, or you can get some markers and you'll get this beautiful handmade design stamp set as well. So lots of options. Be sure to check that out. And then if you've noticed the scrapbook brochure yet, you'll see that this really beautiful Wildflower Birthday Suite also is in, there's a coordinating, just need to get to it. There is a coordinating scrapbook workshop called Wildflower Celebrations. And there is a stamp set that's Wildflower Celebrations as well. There's some two-tone cardstock. There's some additional cardstock if you just want the cardstock with the stickers. It includes the 2 sheets of pre-cut, which we'll show you tonight, but it includes 1 page of stickers, whereas you buy the Wildflower Celebrations, you'll get 2 pages of stickers. So this is what the Wildflower Birthday Scrapbooking Workshop looks like. And you can see it's got 3 just wonderful scrapbook pages that you can copy, or you can just use it however you'd like. And then there's a fun birthday themed or celebration themed stamp set that goes with it that is great for scrapbooking as well. So I think it's fabulous that they've given us all these options, and I'll be playing with this in the future. And then just as a reminder, I did a Facebook Live about Storybook Life, and I did some cards, and I also did a scrapbook page, but there is a scrapbook workshop kit that makes your scrapbook pages super easy, and you can again get 3 sets of 2, so 6 pages out of it, and there's enough paper and such that it you could easily do more as well. I mean, I showed you how to do those paper strips, and I think that that's a really great way to use your scraps. And then they have the Storybook Life, which is another scrapbooking stamp set. So if you're interested in that at all, you got to check those out. They're so fun. Okay, so tonight we're going to do cards, like I said, that have to do with the catalog. So I'm going to do a couple of the cards from the catalog, and I'm also going to do another one that's just super easy that comes from the cardstock. So really, really beautiful. Okay. So using this stamp set, the birthday celebration, and these dies, and using the party dots, and of course this gold weave, open weave ribbon. These are all part of the suite collection. And in case you're new to this suite, let me just show you this paper again. It's just so, so beautiful. So you get 2 pages, which this is the back side of this one. So you can see that what I'm doing today is primarily cutting out these items and using them for card fronts. And also you can, add them to a scrapbook layout, whatever you want to do. I mean, this would make a great journaling place. And then there's this paper. This is the back side. There's this, which I used it for part of my birthday cake on my scrapbook on Friday. This one's got kind of a pool party tone. And then we've got the soft sea foam. This is a great birthday. And look at the gold foil. I mean, just in case you're not noticing, there's just gold foil on every single sheet. And then there's 2 sheets of these cutouts. So sorry it's blurring up on you. Maybe if I hold still, it'll settle down. But all of this is got gold foil just all over the place. So we're going to use a little bit of this tonight, but I've got everything already prepped. Okay, so for the first card we're going to make is we're going to make this cute little happy birthday note card. So do you remember me showing you this sheet that I said makes great card fronts? These actually, when you cut them out, they fit a note card perfectly, just the way they are. So all you have to do is cut it out and put it on a note card. And I showed you note cards, but you can get a set of 20 note cards in a pack. And it has the cards and the envelopes already pre-made for you. So you don't have to try and, cut out the cards. So I think some of these pre-made card and envelope packs are really handy. Okay, so let me just take out some pieces here. Okay, so this is from the pre-cut pieces, and so this is just a piece of cake. This is also one of the pre-cut pieces, and then this is one of these pieces from this page. So I just cut this out. So if you start at the top, you can cut across, and these make great birthday tags, but also fun little fillers for any of your scrapbooking or your card. And I'll show you how we're going to use one of these in the card. And then there's all these other little bits and pieces. So if you cut it across the top and then cut it down, and then you can cut each one individually as you need to. So, okay. So then I used some designer series paper on the back for this envelope. And then I put happy date. Now in the catalog, it shows hooray. And there's also, I think there's a 17 or something, or 21. So you can see here in the catalog they put hooray 21. Well, I don't know anybody that's turning 21. So I'm leaving it so that I can add a date later or a birthday, you know, milestone at a later date. So this is the card we're going to make. So we're starting with the note cards, and I'm just going to use my bone folder to braze it. Okay, so then all you have to do is take this from the designer series paper, and you can tell that I just cut it from the designer series paper, and I'm just going to glue it on. The glue is almost out. So it just fits over the top of it perfectly. And then what I've done is I've cut a 7/8 inch by 2.5 inch piece, and it fits Happy Day just perfectly. And then these are just die cuts, the little flags in the dies. I'm using the biggest one to make it look like a banner that's been folded back. So you can see that it just has this real fun banner look to it. Okay, so I know that I need both of these glued down. I mean, this card just goes together in minutes. And I love it when Stampin' Up! Does all the hard work for us, and really there's hardly anything you have to do. Okay, so now I just need to stamp my little sentiment, and I'm going to use Petal Pink, and I'm using Happy Day. There wasn't any other sentiments that really work in this small space. Hooray was just a little bit too big, and I know that they had Hooray and then 21, but I think Happy Day also works, and I like that it's a little bit more concise. I didn't want to take up too much space. And so using the, sorry, Pretty in Pink. I'm sorry if I misspoke. It said Petal Pink. So Pretty in Pink is actually the color that I'm using for ink. And I'm just going to center it. Okay. And then I'm going to pop it up. So I'm just going to add some dimensionals on the back. And I'm doing this first so that I make sure that I have room for my cake. So then I just center it on these, and I just offset it a little bit, and then I can add my cake. So again, I'm adding dimensionals on the back of that because I want that popped up as well. And then I'm just going to add it here in the middle of my card. And then I have an extra little piece here that I intended to put on the inside. I couldn't find my second one for my card, so I just wanted to show you. I'm just going to glue this on the inside of my card because it just makes it really pretty. And you could make it a happy birthday. You can make it a congratulations. You know, you can make it an anniversary. Whatever you want, I still have that option to do that. And then I have my little designer series paper. So this is just about 6 inches wide. I don't need it that far. And a 2 1/4 inches deep. I probably don't need it quite that much because I think this depth is about 2 inches, but it was just a scrap I had. And I just put a little glue around the edge. And then I fold it over to make sure it's going all the way up to the top. And then I can just cut it out. And I've got a beautiful envelope to go with my card. Sometimes I'm lazy and I don't do anything, but I always feel like I am being lazy and I'm wasting an opportunity to show something really cute on the card. So I think this is just a really fun way for someone to get a happy birthday wish. Okay, so that's that card. All right, so now the next one, whoops, I forgot my embellishment, and I also forgot to wrap a little bit of this behind it. And I did that on my first card as well. I wonder how hard it will be to take this off. The only problem is I won't have a way to tuck. I won't have a way to tuck this because it should have been behind the designer series paper. So, note to self, be more careful. This was supposed to go behind there. So, okay. So there's that card. All right, so this is another fun birthday card. So I made this one especially for my grandson, and I am using this piece here, and then the rest of it is pieces from the colored pre-cut embellishments that you can use, or ephemera, however you want to say it. So you can see that I used the 3 cupcakes, and I used the gold banner, and this little sentiment is from here. So I've already cut that, and then I've got a little piece of layer that I cut from this. So you can see that these things are coming from these 2 things, and I don't have to do tons of fancy anything. All I'm doing is stamping my sentiment and gluing the pieces on. So I have a piece of, this is Blueberry Bushel, and I'm just going to glue this on, and this is an A2 card size, so this is just a regular one, and this is 11 inches, and I scored it at 5.5. So I'm just going to glue this on, and you could add another color layer if you wanted to, but sometimes let's just keep it simple. Because I think that, when you're mass producing birthday cards, now what I'm doing is I'm pushing it up to the top because I want these 3 sides to be the same dimension, and then there's a little bit of gap down at the bottom. And I'm okay with that because what I'm doing is layering below that. And then I'm adding a piece of white on the inside so that I can add a sentiment or write a message on the inside. For my card, what I did is I die cut a couple of 1s because this is for my grandson when he turns 11. So I've got a couple of the 1s in here, and then I stamped TH birthday, so for his 11th birthday. And so what I did is I took the TH and added it to the birthday, and I stamped it all at one time. So I lined it up on my grid here because I think that the grids come up really handy. I'm not going to stamp the inside of this card because I don't know who it's going to be for, because I've already got one for my grandson. And then, of course, I use some of the DSP for the outside of the envelope. So we'll do the same on the outside, but I'm going to leave the inside empty because I don't know anyone that has a birthday coming up, and I don't know their age. Some of my friends, I know they have birthdays, but we don't keep track of years. There's something about that. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put hooray for. All right, so I have this set up for another card that I'm doing. So all I want is hooray. And I'm going to put it over here on the left-hand side and make sure that it all fits within It's mostly within the white. There's a little bit over the gold. And then I have another stamp that's set up for a card, and it says for your, but I'm just going to stamp the for. Oh no, I want both of these words, for your. Okay. I'll be using those for another card here shortly. Okay, so now I am going to layer this just like so. So I want this to just pop up, and it just gives a little separation with this other color that's on the other layer. So, and what I'm going to do is just flip it over, and then I am going to put my dimensionals across both pieces so that it kind of kills two birds with one stone. So that works. And then I'll just put it down here in the right hand corner. And then I have this fun banner, and I'll put that on next. And I'm going to put a dimensional behind each one of the flags. And I'm just using my bits and pieces around the corners because it saves me, and I use every piece. All right. All right, so after putting the dimensionals over every banner, and then I am going to let it overlap a little bit with my sentiment and try to keep it within the card boundaries. Okay, and then because it's going to a boy, I hid the pink one behind, and so then I'm just putting my cupcakes over the top of the pink. I know there's pink frosting, but I think he'll have to get over that. Sometimes I put my dimensional down because I don't know exactly, like if I put it on here and then I just tried to aim, it may not work out the way I want it to. So this is just making sure that I have it in the right place. Okay, so now the last thing I'm going to do is add my embellishments. And because this is for a boy, I'm going to use primarily these neutral colors. Super cute. That fun? Actually, I think I'll use more embellishments just because I can. Really fun. Okay, so same thing with the envelope. I'm gonna put glue on the envelope flap. And I try to get it so that it's just giving me a little bead. I don't do a ton on the envelope flaps because I don't want glue everywhere. I've seen some people spread it out really nicely, but I don't have the patience for that. And then, of course, I'm just going to trim away the excess. And I've got a beautiful, well, a cute birthday card for a boy. So this one is not cased from the catalog, but it's such a great example of how easy it is to just take some of the ideas from the catalog and just run with it. But, you know, this is Most of this work's been done for me. I didn't have to fussy cut any of this stuff. All I had to do was just pull them together and stamp my sentiment. So really easy. So 2 easy cards. So this next card is more for the avid crafter. And this is from the catalog on page 44. And if you'll notice, there's this beautiful card that's spread open, but they don't show us what the front is supposed to look like. So I made the front how I wanted to. You could do it however you want to. And so let me show you real quick. So it's got this open weave to hold it closed because it's pretty thick. And I used again one of these. And then this is one of the pre-cut pieces that matches the cake. And I just thought, how beautiful. And then, of course, this is designer series paper that matches the inside. So if you look at the inside fairly closely matches the catalog. So obviously my gift card here. And then I changed this up. I'm not a fan of how bright this peach is, so I used the DSP instead because I thought it was super cute. I love the daisies. And then I didn't put a number here because I don't know anybody turning 35. And then I only used one banner for the inside, and I think they used 3 because I'm making multiples of these and I only had 2 left. So this is one of those cut out or cut in half. So I'll show you how to do that. And then this is a fun little pocket that has a couple of little tags. You can write sentiments on them, or it's just something cute for people to look at. But it's hooray cake for your birthday. So, you can make the sentiments say whatever you want. And I think that, having a number there would be really fun. And then this backside, you can actually write a sentiment on if you wanted to. And then I just added a little piece of designer series paper to hold my open weave ribbon in place. Okay, so are you ready to put this together? All right, let's make a little room for ourselves. So there are some die cut pieces that I did use, and that is up here, and it matches what they had in the catalog. And then of course I die cut out one of these little pockets. And you could leave it open on top, but because of all the flowers on top, it's not really capable, and it's not wide enough for a gift card. So this is a well-loved gift card that still has a little bit on it. So, okay. So let's start with our card. And you know what I forgot is I need the die cut machine. I'll be right back. Okay. So this is my envelope for this, and you can see that the cake just matches the front. So super fun. All right, so let's put this aside. Okay. All right, so I'm using an A2 card for the base. And so that's what the card is going to be made from. So the first thing I want to do is I want to raise my fold. So you can see that this is actually an A2 card that fits in an A2 envelope. So we're going to work on the front, and then we'll just keep working on the inside, and we'll do this part the last. Okay. All right. So the front, again, the cake is from this fun designer series paper. So I just cut this out. I didn't do anything special to it. And I have a piece of, I covered it completely. So it's 5.5 by 4.25 inch. And so I need to glue this to this piece here. Okay. So that's on there all square. Now this piece gets glued on. And I'm just centering it. And then this is one of the die cut pieces. So you can see that I'm using this piece here, and it matches the floral that's on here. So I'm just going to pop that up. And I'm just putting it down here in the bottom corner. Ah, you know what I forgot? Is I forgot to stamp my sentiment first. Okay. All right, so what I did is, because they didn't show the front, I went ahead and decided to stamp Hooray Cake, but it's not Hooray Cake for your birthday, it's Hooray, comma, Cake for your birthday. So I used my little Stampin' Right marker to add a comma. I couldn't help myself. I just felt like it needed that. Okay. So the front's done. All right, so now on the inside, I used more of this pink check designer series paper. And so I need to cut out a couple of sheets. So this is what it looks like on one side, and this is what it looks like on the other. Oops, that's the wrong one. Sorry about that. And that's not it. Here we go. All right, so this is the outside edge. This is the inside. Okay, so I need 2 pieces, so I'm just gonna get my cutter. And I want them to just have a little bit of an edge to them, not much. So I'm just going to cut it at 4 1/8. Now, if you're wanting to conserve paper because you want to be able to get 6-piece card fronts from 1 12 by 12, then I would cut them all at 4, 4, and 4, and you would have just a little bit more of a border. But because I got 2 packages of these, I think that I can spare a little bit more. Okay, so because I did 4 1/4, then I'm going to do 5 3/8. So 4 1/4 and 5 3/8 for my pieces on the inside. Okay. So I'm going to glue both of these. The nice thing about glue is you have a little bit of wiggle room that you can. I had a kitty visitor, before I went live, and I can always tell. Kitty hair everywhere. Okay, so here's the inside. All right, so now for the little piece on the inside. So this is just a scrap that I had that's like 3 7/8 by 1.5 inch. And you can do different sizes, whatever you feel works best for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put tear and tape around the border, and then I am going to place it with the gift card in place. And you could just use a credit card or something, because what it does is it makes it so that the pocket makes it free and easy. When you just put it down flat, I don't think it gives it any room. And if you notice, there's like a little bit of a bump. So how do I show this? What's the best way to show this? It's a little 3D. So it just kind of gives it a little bit of a bump, so it just freely goes in and out. That way someone's not having a hard time getting it out. Okay, so let's get started. So tear and tape. I like tear and tape just because it's just this 1/4 inch piece, and I can push it all the way up against the edge of the designer series paper. So if you use maybe a little bit bigger of a piece, like 4 1/4 or 4 1/8, then that probably give you a little bit more room. But I'm pushing it all the way over as far to the edge of the paper as possible. Yeah, thanks, Linda. It's so beautiful. I just love how easy and bright and cheerful it is. Just really, really pretty. Okay, so I'm going to take my little strips of tear and tape off. When dealing with tear and tape, I don't know if you have a hard time, but if you just kind of make sure that it's pressed down really good, then your thumbnail should help it come off really easily. Okay, so I'm going to put my credit card or my little gift card in between the tear and tape. So it's not touching the tear and tape. It's not supposed to be touching the tear and tape. Okay, so now I'm going to lay it down. And because my gift card is in there, I'm just going to use my bone folder to press. And then it creates this nice little pocket that will release the gift card really easily. Okay, and then I'm going to place this on the inside. Now, it's going to get tucked in, but I want to pop up my flowers a little bit. So I'm just going to add some dimensionals out here. Because I want the flowers to kind of pop up a little bit, and leaves, but I want it to stay in place. And it'll make this a little thicker, so it may or may not go through the mail like this. You may have to hand deliver something like this. But there's something to be said for really beautiful handmade cards, hand delivered. There we go. So now it's in place, and we can go on to the next stage. Okay, so this piece is 9 inches by 4 1/4, and I scored it at 3 inches and 3 inches, or if you're going along the board, at 3 inches and 6 inches. So 4 1/4 by 9 inches, and then you end up with this really easy 3-inch fold for the little part that comes out. So we're making this part now. Okay. Okay. So what I can do is I can just glue this in first, but you want to make sure that you glue it in the right way so that it will pop out for you. Okay. So we're going to put glue back here. And then we're going to center it on the area. And then we'll open it up. Okay. So I've got all these little parts and pieces. What I did is I used this one to create this part right here. Okay. So you can pick through, there's maybe a different one that you would use. So this is just one of the tags. It didn't have any gold foil up at the top. It does have a little gold foil here, but if you wanted to, you could use one of these, whichever you want. But I'm going to use this because I want this back. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because I don't want to just willy-nilly cut out a piece from this, because I'm using all these different pieces for different things. Like I use some of these for my scrapbooks, some of these for my cards, and I want to keep the rest of them, whole. So I'm just going to use the back of this. Okay, so we're going to use this, pull this out. And I'm going to use this for this, but I also need the little flowers that are here as well. So I've got some scraps, so I'll need the little flower, and there's a couple of little buds that I want to use. One of them is in petal pink. Another one is in blueberry bushel. And then there are these leaves. So you can see these leaves here. Those are in soft sea foam. So when I'm die cutting, I do try to die cut all my stuff together. And this is the only stuff that I needed to die cut. So I set up my little die cut machine so we can just push it all through at one time. So this is the mini machine. So I think I'm going to put it through like so. And then just conserve space. Just some little bits and pieces. Stampin' Up, they just do this such a beautiful job. I thought, why not? Don't need to recreate the wheel. I'm just going to copy them. Just holding on to it to make sure it doesn't go flying through. Nope, that's not going to come out on its own. Okay. So I'm going to save this in case I need it for a scrapbook tag, because I like those. And here I've got my very cute little pocket. And nope, it doesn't want to come out either. Okay. So then we use our handy dandy pick a tool. Let me just pop it out. So I didn't need these right away, but we'll set them aside for when we're ready to do that part. And these are little. As soon as I am finished die cutting, I will show you, or punch them out, I'll show you how pretty they are, because they're just, they look like the florals. They're very little, but they're very cute, aren't they? Okay, so we'll just put these aside someplace. Hopefully I don't lose them. Okay, so we're going to decorate this right here. So this just gets glued to my inside. And then we're going to add all these floral. So these flowers are from here. Okay, so I'm using this flower that has the pretty little gold center, and I'm using this pretty, looks like a posy of some sort. And then I'm using these leaves, so I'm going to need this leaf. So I have left most of my cutouts I've already taken out and put them in a separate bag, because this tends to fall apart as soon as you start messing with it. So I'm going to need this blue, and I only had one left because I had 2 sets of designer series paper, which means I had 4 of them. And they wanted 2, but I only have 1 left, so I'm just going to use the 1. Okay, so let's find the leaves and the flowers. Okay, so here's my pink posy, and I'm not sure why I have that. I'll need this. And there we go. So I'll need this as well. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of redesigning, and it looks like I'm missing one of my little gold pieces. There it is. Okay. Okay. So this goes here. And this one goes here, and we'll just do a little something different. So I think I'll put this blue one in the middle, and it looks like I'm missing one of my flowers. I have everything together in a bag. Looks like I need to get So this is what I did with all of my extra pieces that I'm not using. And I am looking for one of my little petal pink, or no. It looks like I may have used up all of them. So I'm going to go back to this, and I will just take this one out. Okay, so then I can put these 2 flowers here, and then I'm going to be using this leaf here, and instead of putting the green one up at the top, I'm going to put the green one down at the bottom. So slightly different because you only have so much of stuff. Okay. So now that I know where my leaves are going to go, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my dimensionals. I need some big ones. And I am going to secure these gold ones and this blue one. And then I can put my pink one here. And then I know that my green one is going to go right there. So again, I'm using my dimensionals to secure it. And then I can put my flower here. And then this last one, I'm going to pop up and slide it under the pink. Okay. So these are all secured. Whoops, except for this one. So maybe if I add a little dimensional underneath it, pop it up, then it's secure. Okay, so all the flowers are secure, not going anywhere. So this one didn't get as secure as I wanted it to. There we go. Okay, so that's that page done. So you can tell that when it closes, it just kind of peeks out a little bit, and that's okay. All right, so now the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing this banner. So I only have one left, so I'm going to pull it out. And I'm going to cut it in the middle, okay? So because there's a connection down here, I am going to follow the line so you can't tell, and then just cut it in the middle, okay? And then I need to do a little bit of repair work because you can see there's a little bit of a rough edge. So I'm just going to just soften it, just a smidge, and then you can't tell. Though it does kind of get covered up with some flowers. Okay, so this one, because these sort of hang this way, I am placing it like so. So let me just use some dimensionals because I want to pop up. Actually, I didn't pop that up. I actually glued that down. Okay, so I'm just going to glue down the banners themselves, and I'm going to glue it so that it goes about halfway up, and then again I'll glue this about halfway up. From there, and then I let it go all the way up to the top. All right, and then I'm going to take these little flowers and I'm going to cover up here and here. Now, because I didn't have enough of those little ones, I actually have enough that I can add another one down at the bottom, and I can actually add one of these on top. So I meant to do that. So these get glued as well. And I'll do these in the same order. And Stampin' Up showed them going straight across, but I think it's going to be hard to open. So I just thought I would do it. Let's keep it going the same way. because we do want it to be contained, and when we close it, we don't want these flowers to be in the way of closing, so you want to keep it away from the seam where it gets folded. That's super cute. All right, so now we've done these 2 pages, and so now we're on to the 3rd page. Okay, so they may have just used one piece of this, but what I did is I glued the whole piece, but or didn't glue, but I cut this at an angle. And so you just get your cutter and you just decide whatever angle works for you. And so I'm going this way. And I'm using my cutter because then it's straight. And I'm going to glue this piece on. And then I'll do tear and tape for this other portion. Okay, so that way it creates a little pocket. And we're going to add some cute little tags and sentiments. So this goes at the top. And then I'm going to do my tear and tape again. And I'll just do it around the edges. And I'm going to keep it as far over to the edge as possible so that there's enough room for the cute little tags. And remember, the tags are coming from the DSP, and I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so these are the 2 tags that are actually going in here. So let's just again place them in between the tear and tape and then put it down. That way I'm not trying to fuss to get my tags in there. So they can still move in and out. And I am just going to kind of pull this one out a little bit, kind of like they have in the picture. Isn't this beautiful? Okay, so now for the next part. Need to find the flowers that went with this. What did I do with them? Oh, there's my other leaf. And I'm just missing my flower. I thought it was here. Oh, it got flicked clear over. Okay. Okay, so in the catalog, this piece was a little bigger. They used a whole piece, but I only had the one left and I wanted it for scrapbooking. So I cut this in half. So I think that's okay. You know, you can just do whatever works for you. So there's 2 things that I'm going to need. I'm going to need birthday fussy cut and for your cut out. But what I did, they just used a little tiny square. I used the flag that I used previously on one of the other cards. Do you remember the flags that I did for this banner? I'm just going to use one of those. So I'll fussy cut and die cut the 2 sentiments. Okay, so I have a piece of cardstock here. Let me just put this aside so you can kind of see where we're going. And I have misplaced another leaf. It was here. These things are, oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, so what I need is I need to stamp the word Birthday. And I can put THOA back into the stamp set because I'm not going to be using that again. All right, so birthday. And then I'm going to use For Your, but I'm going to do it in a different color. I'm going to use it soft sea foam. And it's going to go up here in the top. Okay. So let me just cut this away so I don't get in the way of what I need to die cut. So I forgot about this. And it's the biggest of the banners. And I'm just holding it down so it doesn't move before it cuts. Okay, so whenever I fussy cut, I let my scissors or my left hand do all the work. Okay, so I'm gonna see how I just kind of position the paper. So I'm cutting with the left, it's staying the same place, but I'm moving the paper around with my left hand, and so my right hand that's doing the cutting, unless I make a boo-boo, pretty much just stays in position. Rather than making my wrist sore by trying to cut around all these different angles, and it's done. Fussy cutting can be very daunting for some, but don't let it be. Okay, so the first thing I need is I need to glue this across. Now it's a little longer than what I need, so I'm not going to put glue all the way across. And it just about right here. And then I can trim off the excess. And then I can add dimensionals to the back of this. Birthday. Oops. And I want it to be over towards the right so that I have plenty of room for my little sentiment, For Your. And that I'm going to also pop up. Oops. I want to put my dimensionals on the bottom side because I don't want it to get in the way of interfering with something There we go. Now we can add the flowers. All right, so my little bloom is going to go something like so. So now all I need to do is add a great big dimensional here. And then add my bloom, just like so. And then I can just pop it under. And maybe I put it in the wrong place. There we go. All right, so now the only thing left is decorating the little balloon with these little tiny pieces. And if that's not your thing, you may want to cross your eyes or close them. All right, so I'm just going to use glue dots. And because of the size, I'm going to use my little tweezers. Actually, my fingernails work better sometimes. And then these ones need to be rolled up because they're so thin. So I roll them. And then I can put my little leaf across the rolled area. Oh, it's being difficult. Okay, so now the first thing, so I'm just going to add this, and then adding this one, and then I think they only showed one leaf, but I'm showing two because I love the little leaves. I think they're very cute. And then the little flower on top. And there we have it. Okay, so the last thing I need to do, and let me just find a little bit of designer series paper because oops, this is for the envelope. So let me look in here for a little scrap. And I just need a little square of the cake paper. So this will work. All right. So for the ribbon, you're going to need approximately 26 inches. Okay. So let's measure off 26 inches. I've got 13 and another 13. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this up. And then I'm going to wrap the ribbon around and tie my bow. And I want my bow here. think I need a little bit less over there, and I need more over here. Try it again. Okay, so I'm just going to angle the ribbon so it doesn't get too heavy. And then I'm going to place the bow where I want it. And then I'm going to glue this down so that it holds my ribbon in place. Because you can't use any sort of tear and tape or glue, because obviously this open weave is just going to open up and smear glue everywhere, and you don't want that. You don't have to do it this way. You can do a smaller strip, but the cake paper is so pretty, I figured why not. And it just ties in with the front and also the little piece on the inside. So hooray! Cake for your birthday. Isn't that pretty? All right. Well, that's all I have for tonight. So thank you for hanging out with me. And if you're watching later with YouTube, please click like and subscribe and share with a friend. I appreciate all the support and encouragement. If you've got comments, feel free to share them with me. If you love this suite as much as I do, let me know, because it's just so pretty. Keep in mind that anything that comes out that's new, depending on Stampin' Up's decisions, it may be first come, first serve. So don't forget to get this before it's too late. Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot my little embellishments. All right, one more thing. Little embellishments. So when I've got so many pretty colors, might as well use them all. Let's see what I did. Let's see if we can copy it. And a little pink. And I put a little bit on the inside. And then I just put one here, and then I put a couple more right here. And you can add more and decorate it however you want. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to put your designer series paper on your envelope flap and create a fun envelope for it to go into. So let me just show you, it will work. So you can see it's a little thick, and where I popped it up, and I can tie my bow and shove it in, or you can just put it aside, or however you want to do it, but everything fits. So you can close your envelope, and I'll show you just real quick. That way you know that I'm not just speaking hooey. So I've got my fun little bow, and I'm just going to tuck it in. And I'm closing my envelope, and I can even seal it. Okay, so there's plenty of room. It's a little thicker, so it's probably extra postage if you're going to mail it. But my recommendation is, you know, either put a bigger envelope on the outside and pay the extra postage, or deliver it by hand. All right. Thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you soon. I'll see you on Friday.